I am so sorry, guys. I don't know what's happening. It's like you can't access my phone's camera, but okay. Anyway, I digress. Once again, welcome to our Ants Team Live training. Hopefully, this stream will actually work and we'll actually be able to stay connected. So, because of these technical internet difficulties that we're having, we're just gonna truncate tonight's meeting. So, I am going to not spend as much time on our wins for the week, but that doesn't mean that I don't want you guys to share them. So share in the comments box, start sharing your wins for the week. I was mentioning earlier that this page is actually a public page, so you can share with your teams. I get a lot of messages each week asking if you can share the videos and invite your teams. Yes, more than welcome to. This is the Ants Team Public Live Family Training, so everyone is welcome. So I wanted to say that. I also wanted to mention that last week, again, technical difficulties. The stream was perfect. We had great conversation, and it just so happened that Facebook decided that it didn't want to save my video. So let me just do a quick recap of the topic of discussion for last week. So last week we started our series, which is entitled PHAT. We were talking about acronyms and how we create acronyms to remember things. So these are some important tips that I wanted you to keep in mind for growing your business. So the first part of the acronym was P, which stood for a couple of things, but all of the things were centered around your pursuit of success, your pursuit of your goals, your pursuit of attaining your goals, which of course are your SMART goals. The SMART goals that we talk about all the time in our videos, and that allow you to measure your progress and judge how you're doing in your steps towards your goals. The pursuit was important because it was for you to focus on never giving up on your dreams and goals. A lot of times, life happens and we get distracted, and that's okay to, sometimes you have to just take your mind off, but it's always important to come back because you never want to give up on your dreams and goals. We're not quitters here in this business. And if you are, then you're kind of in the wrong place because this is where success happens, right? We were talking about being passionate about whatever it is that you're doing, loving what you're doing, and devoting yourself to it long term. Because if you're here for a 3-week run, you're not going to see real success in that 3-week period. But it's important that you have your goals mapped out because you can work those goals backwards, break them down into a successful plan, and work from there. But a lot of times we're talking a year, 2 years. Some of our goals are 5 years and 6 months. Me, I have 5-year goals. A while back, one of our friends of the group shared that he was working on his 5-year plan as well. So a 5-year goal is a good place to start and work backwards from there. So if you're working on leaving your full-time job, if you're working on buying a house, if you're working on putting the kids through college, the chances of you being able to do those big, hairy goals within a 2-week period is not realistic. So, you want to start planning with your big goals and work backwards. We also talked about the things that allow you to remember why those goals are important to you, because those are the things that will help your pursuit on a day-to-day basis stay relevant. Because especially with those long-term goals, it's really easy to lose sight of what the overall goal is and get discouraged if you don't see any progress. But if your goals are SMART goals, you'll have milestones that you can check off to track your progress. And if you have things in the forefront of your mind to keep in front of you at all times, it'll also help you to stay focused. So I shared that one of the things that keeps me focused was the people that are involved. I'm not just in this for myself, but I'm in it for my family, for my family, my future children, for my teammates, and you guys who may not be a part of my immediate team, but are a part of my Avon family. So when I hear the success of my team and my Avon family, that drives me and motivates me. Speaking of success of the team, I know you guys have some wins that you're getting ready to share in the chat box. But I know a lot of you guys get encouragement, and a lot of you guys will share with me that you heard of another representative's success and you want to be that too. My story in and of itself may not be something in line with your goals, but maybe you hear from another parent, another single mom, another Avon man, and that motivates you and drives you. So the stories and the people that are involved, they create an anchor for you to kind of center yourself and keep you on your path in addition to your SMART goals. And they help you when you're feeling frustrated to just remember why it is that you're doing this. And they just kind of help you know that you're not alone. So we talked about how important it is to build connections, to get into these Facebook groups and get into your Avon trainings and meetings and your rep fests. I know it's like we just finished a rep fest, but it's never too early to start promoting the next rep fest. And we do have another rep fest coming up this summer. So start saving from now, because we don't want the date to come around and you're like, oh, wait, I don't have the money, but I wish I could go. Put away $50, put away $100 from now. And, in 12 months' time, if you put away $100 a month, you have $1,200. If you put away $50 a month, you have $600. That might be enough for the airfare. That might be enough for the hotel. But start planning from now so that you have enough saved up. But all of these activities and events, they're super important because they're there to get you re-engaged, to get you connected to other reps so that you can encourage each other and motivate each other and kind of cheer each other on. It's not just, another meeting. You learn, not only do you learn a lot from these meetings, but the connections that you make, the bonds that you form, those are invaluable to your success too. So thankfully we got through that recap without having a crash, but let's scoot on over to our chat box. Who do we have in tonight's call? We have Miss Kathleen. Welcome. Miss Lisa, Miss Sheila. Thank you guys for joining us. Hello, gorgeous. Miss Jessica Amazon. Who else do we have? I'm seeing I said Miss Kathleen and Miss Jessica, and I can't scroll further up than that. So if I missed you, just give me a shout out below so that I can welcome you formally. Miss Renee, thank you. Welcome. I know I saw you, but I wasn't sure. So okay. Tonight's topic, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be part 2 of our PHAT acronym, which is, hey, Miss Kreslin, which is going to be the H. So our H, as you can see in the title of tonight's discussion, is going to be focused on honing. So hone is our word of the day. Do you guys remember like Sesame Street used to have a word of the day? We have words of the day again. Who ever thought that would be coming back? But as you guys share your wins for the week, I do want to share the wins because, like I say, it's always important for you to celebrate your successes. And I'm looking for a couple of representatives in particular to be joining us on this call to share their wins because they had homework to share and take note of their wins on a daily basis. But don't discount how important it is for you to track your wins and celebrate your wins because they are important to your success, to your growth, and to your business. And when you celebrate your wins, don't feel like how I used to feel in the past, which was, don't celebrate too much because people are going to think that you're bragging, and that's not good. But I found that my little wins that I wasn't even sure of, their worthiness of being celebrated, those became motivation for other reps. And I found that I was motivated when I heard other representative stories. And when I shared with them how exciting it was to hear their story or what motivation I got from them, a lot of times they were like, what? That made a difference to you? Okay, I didn't know. So don't think that any of your wins are not worthy of celebrating. Be sure each and every week, if not every day, to just find 1 to 3 things that you accomplished that you want to celebrate. It could be that you spoke to the number of people that you wanted to speak to for the day. It could be that you shared a sample pack with that person you were meaning to start a conversation with. It could be that you made your phone calls, that you reached out to one member of your team for the day, that you encouraged someone else for the day. It could be, whatever. There's no limit and there's no minimum and there's no maximum. Whatever it is, you should celebrate it. So I have two wins for this week. This weekend I had a craft fair. I partnered up with a local community event. We had a great craft fair, and I'm looking forward to connecting with the people that I met there. But I love these little community events because it's something where you can give back. And with this event, there were two different organizations that I was working towards. The organization that was holding the event, and then another organization that I promised I would make a donation to. So it was great to know that, in my business, we're able to do great things for the community through, our hashtag side hustle, the things that we're doing on the side. It was nice for me because a lot of times, especially with new representatives, we hear a lot that nobody wants to buy and nobody wants to join, and nobody likes these products and this, that, and the other thing. And we get in our little bubbles and we throw our little pity parties, and they're basically excuses for not doing the things that we want to do. And I've done this before. I'm not knocking anybody. I catch myself doing it all the time. And I, have to put myself back in the proper mindset and just look at all the things that I have been able to accomplish and all the things that other representatives have been able to accomplish in their business, and use that to say, okay, well, if they can do this, I can do this too. But sometimes when you have these events, you run into people with these mobile pity parties, and they're like, yeah, I did that, but nobody wants to buy, nobody wants to sell. And there was this one moment this past weekend where there was a woman, we were talking to each other, and she was like, yeah, I did that, but nobody wants to buy Avon. And I was like, what? I've been pretty successful with my Avon customers. I find a lot of great people who are interested in the products, and I could barely finish. Like I always, usually have this mapped out in my head ahead of time because I've heard these things before. But in this moment, all of a sudden, all of these people came into the event like, oh my gosh, Avon, I've been looking, I can't find my skin so soft. Oh, do you have this? And I had to keep saying to the lady, excuse me, let me just help this person. Oh, excuse me, let me come back to you for a minute. Excuse me, let me just help this. And she stood there and she watched, and I was like, I'm really sorry, I know we were talking, but let me help this person real quick and I'll be right back. And eventually she said to me, I see you're busy, I'll come back at a later time. So I said, okay, yeah, let's keep talking. Because I did want to keep talking to her. She was a nice person, and she was sharing what she was doing now. And I like to hear people's stories and, just chat. It's fun to meet people. So again, she came back later on, and same thing happened. When she came back, I was talking to three people. And then when she came back, she was like, oh, you're so busy today. I was like, yeah, all these people who want Avon. I felt like it was a thank you kind of moment. And it was also I feel kind of bad that I didn't get to carry out this conversation. But it just goes to show you your mindset. If you start this with the mindset of nobody wants to buy and nobody wants to join, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to get out there and find the people who do want to buy and who do want to join. And I met a lot of people this weekend who said that they had lost their Avon rep either to retirement or to moving, or they had changed jobs and they were looking for the product still. There were a lot of people who were like, yeah, I would love to get an Avon book in the mail. I don't have an Avon lady, but I would like to have one. There's some things that I buy that I haven't been able to get. And these were the stories that I was hearing even as she was standing here. And I was just like, yay, validation. But it wouldn't have come if I hadn't have gone out. And if I hadn't, partnered on this event. So just keep that in mind as you're going about what you're doing. There's going to be that little voice in the back of your mind that's always just like, nobody wants to, nobody this, it doesn't ever, you can never, it won't ever, things will never. All of that negativity, just, tune it out, because there is going to be that moment for you in your business where it all just like comes to this positive point where you're like, yeah. So that was my win for the weekend. My second win was actually just literally a few minutes ago. We had a local meeting. As I mentioned to you in a previous training, Avon is doing the group coaching. Now, if you haven't done the coaching program, they're starting another section next month. So if you are a silver ambassador, I believe, either silver or bronze ambassador, I have a feeling it's a bronze ambassador, but it might be silver. Don't quote me on that, but check. So if you're a leader and the coaching program is being offered to you. I highly recommend that you take it. We were talking about it, me and the Jessicas, in our last conference call. We were saying how much we were learning and how much we're loving it. And tonight we had a in-person meeting, and it was very nice. And I had the opportunity. Shout out to Miss Mary and Miss Rizina, who are in the same coaching class as I am, who are there. But I had the opportunity to share my Avon story. And I will encourage you guys to share your Avon story as much as you can. Practice it until it's polished. Mine is not there yet. I'm working on it. Lord willing, one day I will finally get it down pat. It's the point where it runs smoothly. But I encourage you guys. I've been working with my team this weekend in prospecting and in field events, and it's really nice to have your elevator spiel, your 20-second commercial, something that's about you and how you got into this business. I would love to list the topics of discussion, but I don't have my phone on me. It's just out of reach. But basically, starting with who you are, why you joined Avon, what you've gotten out of it, what benefits you've seen in your business, and what you hope to see out of your business. That's basically the gist of it. It's short, it's sweet, it's simple. Write it down on a little index card and practice it. I remember when I first got started, I used to keep it in an index card in my purse because, yeah, sometimes you do need to practice your own story just until it comes out the way that you like for it to sound. But you could write on an index card or on your phone. Practice with friends and family, especially if you're new to leadership and you're getting in the habit of speaking to people. I'm mentoring one of my teammates on how to, just get comfortable approaching strangers and having a conversation. Just remember, it's you making friends, you getting to know people. And a lot of times, if you'll say to a person, "Hey, what do you do?" they'll just turn around and ask what you do. And it's nice to have a nice little maybe sentence to 3 sentences, depending on the situation. If you're like in passing in the laundromat or on the line at the grocery store, we're talking 2 to 3 sentences. And if you're giving an opportunity meeting presentation, it's helpful to maybe have a couple minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, I guess. Although I have to look at the recording and see how long my video was, because I do tend to ramble, but as you guys know already from these training calls. But those were my 2 wins. It was nice to be able to present in front of my peers, and shout out to my division manager, head coach, I guess now that the titles have changed, for giving me that opportunity. But let's jump over to your win. So I saw that we had a new recruit this Saturday. Who did we have? Miss Kathleen signed up a new team member this weekend. Congratulations to Miss Kathleen. We always love to hear that the family is expanding. So Miss Kathleen had a new team member. Jessica M says she has 2 events coming up. She's getting ready to do 2 different fundraisers as well. And she's working on tossing her brochures. I love Miss Jess for always working her business. Miss Jess also says that a negative mindset doesn't get anyone ahead. Yeah, it's true. It's like blockage. It just keeps. What always frustrates me about the negativity is that it not only stops your success, because it's like you get backed up, things just doesn't flow through you, and the things that would come out of you sharing positivity doesn't happen. So someone else's life doesn't get to be empowered or encouraged or changed or positively impacted. So when you have that, negativity backup, it's like bile. It starts to build up in you and create bitterness and resentment and hatred and frustration and just negativity across the board, not only for you, but for other people's lives. And I was actually just sharing a post to my other Facebook page today, and I was just like, I was reminiscing about when I started, and I remembered how many people told me that the same thing that this woman was saying to me, that nobody wants to buy, that nobody wants to sell. Tell that to our 100 plus Ants team now. Tell that to all of you who are changing title and promoting your business and growing your team. Miss Kathleen, who just got another recruit. The people who are selling at President's Club and Honor Society, and even above and beyond to levels that I haven't even seen. But I'm like, people are so quick to rattle off negative discouragement If we were just as quick to say something positive and encouraging, the world would just be such a better place. But turn the page on that one. All right, so let's jump into tonight's discussion. So tonight we're going to be talking about our word of the day, which is home. And I want to just start off with the definition of home. If you just Google home, it usually comes up in terms of sharpening. So the definition was hone is to make more acute, which is sharp, or effective, to improve or to perfect. So when you think of honing your skills or honing a knife or a blade, even if you're a designer or an artist, honing your tools, which is basically sharpening your pencil. So tonight I want to talk about how important it is to sharpen your pencil in business, to sharpen not just your skills, but the tools that you have at your disposal. And we keep mentioning the things that Avon is providing for us, the Rep Fest conferences, the coaching program. Avon U is about to roll out with a whole new system for our online trainings. They also have the social selling class going on, the social media selling that's happening now. Our classes, I think we're going to be on to our 4th class tomorrow. So there are all these tools that are available to us, and a lot of times I'm not hearing about people taking advantage of them. And we know when you're not, because when we talk about things and you're kind of just like, what incentive? I didn't hear about an incentive. It makes me wonder, are you checking your emails? Are you on youravon.com? Are you following Avon University? There are just so many resources available in so many different formats, email, website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and these are all tools that are available to help us in our businesses. Now, our success is, Miss Kathleen says, yes, PHAT. So tonight we're doing the H. So our businesses are at the end of the day our businesses. So it's up to us to reach out and take advantage of all of the things that are available to us. It's up to us to get up, walk over to the sharpener, and sharpen our pencils. It's going to be it's not only frustrating as the leader, but frustrating for you in business to be trying to write. Have you ever tried to write with a broken pencil before? It's the most annoying thing ever. Or trying to write with a pen that has, some ink, so it's skipping every other letter, or, making spaces in each letter. And, imagine writing with that or trying to write with that. It gets frustrating. Your work doesn't come across clearly. Whatever you're doing, the value of it doesn't come out because no one else can see what it is that you're creating because of all this choppiness, of all the clutter that's coming from your broken pencil or your broken pen. When your tools are not sharpened and honed properly, things don't come out as clearly and as well defined as they should be. They tend to come out a little more muddy and muddled. So you lose the benefit of that, what you would have had with a sharp instrument. You lose the clarity that would have come across through, having sharp tools. So you're frustrated because things aren't coming out the way that you want them to be. And the people around you are frustrated because they're like, they don't get what you're doing. They're like, what is this? It kind of looks like a letter, but it also looks like a painting. Is this one of those Picasso things that you're putting together? And, but it loses the value. So by honing your skills, you're not only making your life better, because if it's, from my experience, broken pencil and I don't get along. Broken pen and I get so frustrated that I sometimes even lose my train of thought. If you're trying to get a quick note jotted down and you're constantly having to rewrite that first letter, you can't move on to the other things that you're trying to get across. So in your business, it's the same thing. If your tools aren't sharp enough, you can't move on to the next level. If they're not sharp enough, people can't clearly see what it is that you're doing because it looks kind of muddled. Like yeah, she kind of looks like she's starting a business for herself, but today she's on, tomorrow she's off. I don't really know what it is that she's doing, if she's serious about this thing. Um, it it's kind of lost on me, and you lose that opportunity to say, look, this is my dream, this is my goal, this is what I'm working towards. And also, in the same idea, if you're thinking about knives, why am I always talking about weapons on these calls, right? But if you're thinking about knives, have you ever tried cutting with a dull knife? It takes you forever, and it takes twice as much energy and effort to get the job done. So one of the things that I love about this business is the fact that they partner you with someone else, either a leader who's been through it already or a coach who has the training experience. And we have all of these Facebook groups and all of these trainings, YouTube videos, etc., where people are kind enough to get on and share their experience. I know when I got started, I didn't have a mentor or an upline, so I relied on the information, the advice, the tips, the experiences of other representatives to avoid the pitfalls that either they were able to avoid or that they fell in and learned from. So it shortens the learning curve, which means it gives you, it makes you not have to put as much energy into it. It's like, imagine walking in the dark. If you have someone to say, okay, there's a step here or there's a step there, you can kind of move faster. You'll walk faster because you know you can trust this person to guide you. But if you're in the dark by yourself, you kind of stumble. You take very timid steps because you don't want to fall. And then when you do fall, you have to put all your energy together, heal the cuts and wounds, scrape yourself up, and then go again. And again, you're timid and you're going slowly. Now, there's nothing wrong with falling down or setbacks, because sometimes those are the ways that we grow. But if you can avoid it, wouldn't you want to? If you could learn from someone else's mistake and not drop into the same pothole, not not take the same misstep, wouldn't you want to? I know I would. So when your tool is sharp, you won't have to put in as much energy sawing away with a dull knife, because you know, okay, I can do this, 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 and this. These are some ideas that someone has shared with me for getting started. By getting plugged in, you'll pick up on those things. By doing your research and doing your training, you'll catch those things ahead of time. So it's not like you're taking the super slow route and just kind of sawing away, hacking away little by little, inch by inch. Your knife will be sharper, so you can cut through a lot of the red tape in the beginning. You can cut through a lot of the stress and anxiety that comes with starting out with a new adventure, starting out on a new journey. You can cut through a lot of the external anxiety that other people give you, because for example, the example that I just gave you about having people come and tell me that you couldn't succeed in this business, that you wouldn't find customers, you wouldn't make any money, this, that, and the other thing. It was the stories of other representatives' success that allowed me to overcome that negativity. But if I didn't take the time to learn and to plug myself in and listen to their stories, I would have only had that negative voice screaming at me, just quit, you're never going to make it. And if I, it takes for you to make that investment. And you'll be more, what's the word? Acute. You're sharper. You're quicker. Sometimes people, when we're out in the field, people will come with objections, and we practice overcoming objections all the time on our team. And if you haven't already, we are here for you to practice with us. Don't be afraid. It's not as bad as you think, but it's better to practice again. That's a skill that's available to you. It's better to practice within the confines and the safety blanket of your being with your upline or being amongst your teammates, so that when you are in the field, you do feel more confident. I hated role playing, but I found that by doing it, I was able to practice what I was saying until I felt more comfortable saying it, so that when I was in the real world, I really, really hated when someone would tell me something and I didn't have a comeback. So I said, you know what? I will do the role play so that I'll be prepared for those moments. But like I said earlier, when we were in the field, and you have people come in and give you this negative bile and just start throwing up all this foolishness on you, you want to just be able to say, okay, no, I know that this is the company for women. I know that this is the company that empowers women. We are the biggest contributors to the breast cancer awareness cause. I know that in the United States, we are not testing on animals. New Avon does not do animal testing. These are the places that you can go to find the proof for that. I know people who are successful in this business. I know people who are selling $10,000 and above in this business. I know people who came to this country, didn't have an education, didn't have a sales background, didn't have a business background, who were able to build their business with the tools that this company afforded to them. And you start just regurgitating all this stuff. It's not stuff that came to you in a dream overnight. It's stuff that you learn from listening to the stories of other people. It's stuff that you learn from going to Avon trainings. I know that we sell a lipstick, every 5 seconds here in the US. I know that we are the company that was first to market on a lot of products like alpha hydroxy acids. If you look, I always tell people, if you watch as new products are coming out, Avon has it, and then like 6 months later, I guess when the patent runs up, I don't know, another company will come out with it. And I remember somebody mentioned this on a call back in the day before we had like Facebook training, but a representative mentioned this on a call, and I heard it, and I went out. At that time, we had that cellulite treatment for the body, the CelluSculpt or something like that. And I remember walking to school one day, and about 6 months after Avon came out with this product, I saw a billboard for it from another company. And I'm like, you guys are acting like this is new, that you just came out with this. Avon has had this for 6 months. You're late to the party. So Avon is first to market on a lot of things, but you won't know that unless you're plugged in. You're going to the corporate meetings, the corporate trainings, you're watching the Campaign Central, the Avon sales meetings. By the way, FYI, next week, I believe that is the 19th. Yes, today's the 12th. Next week is the 19th. Avon is having their Avon Home Office live training. So we will have our little Facebook party here, but we won't have this Ants Team live training where we'll talk about the things that Avon Home shares. But I encourage you guys to get onto those trainings. Don't skip them. I know in the past, we used to have a lot of physical meetings and people came out and learned a lot. And now that it's on the internet, we're like, oh yeah, we'll get around to doing it, but we never do. So make it your priority to get plugged into those trainings, because they're resources for you to hone your skills, to be better, faster, more successful. They used to be, okay, this is before my generation. I'm kind of dating myself here. But do you guys remember there was a show, I want to say Dallas, but it wasn't. It was a show based on, it was an old TV show. I'm talking like Golden Girls generation, where it was some women in a fashion house. I can't remember the name of it, but there was a scene where she was like, better, faster, stronger. And there was that tiny little clip, but I always keep it in the back of my mind. I want to say it's not Dallas, but it was like a fashion house. It was, I think, two sisters, and I think it still comes on, by the way. But anyway, but I always have that in my mind. Better, faster, stronger. How do I want to do this? Better, faster, stronger. How am I going to work my business? Better, faster, stronger. How do I want to be tomorrow? Better, faster, stronger than I was yesterday. It doesn't happen every day, but this is me talking to myself to encourage myself to do better. But in that train of thought, there's this, you guys are familiar with the book, As a Man, or the quote, as a man thinketh, so he is. So you want to think better, faster, stronger, because you'll be more likely to go that route. If you're thinking duller, weaker, slower, then you'll go in that route. And if you let other people's negativity get into your mindset, you'll just, like the current of the sea, you'll just find yourself pulled in that direction. But if you're sharp, you can cut through that. So two things that I wanted to share before we break up the chat, but of course the discussion continues on in the comments box. But this thing that we're doing, it's two parts. The first is learning, the second is practicing. Then rinse, recycle, and repeat. Learn, practice, learn, practice, because the things that you gather from your practice will help you better your skills. You'll be able to go back and say, okay, today I learned on tonight's training that you should have a 20-second spiel for presenting your business. I'm going to go and I'm going to practice it. Then I'm going to talk to some people and see how it goes, see how fluid my speech is, see what their reaction is. If you're like me, you're going to ask yourself if you were talking too fast, because that's what I do. Uh, or, you'll ask, what can I add? What should I take away? And then you're going to go back again, learning from the experience of practicing it to improve what you had. So all of the trainings, all of the meetings, those are opportunities for you to add to your arsenal. Those are ways for you to sharpen the blade. But your action of going back and practicing those skills, honing those skills, is how you continue to sharpen the blade. So, two parts: learn and grow, and then practice what you're learning. And it never ends. It's always a continuation. You learn, you practice, you learn, you practice. So implement that. That is the second part of our PHAT session. Thanks, Kathleen, for remembering that for me. And next week, we will be talking about the A, and I will reveal then what the A is going to be, and how you can use that to build and grow on your business. So, oh, I have another win in the chat box. So, not even a win, a combination of a win and a sharing for tonight's topic of discussion. Thank you, Miss Renee. So Miss Renee is sharing that she learned through trial and error. Her upline laughed after, oh my gosh, her upline left after her third campaign. So she didn't have she didn't have that resource, but she didn't have the groups and videos that we have now. Yeah, and I get that, Renee, because I didn't have an upline either when I joined. So my resource was the district manager and the sales meetings. And then it became, as I went to the meetings, I met other representatives, and they shared their tips and their ideas and their stories. For me, I loved my district managers, but for me, it was learning from other representatives, the stories that it was what we brought as reps to the meeting that made the meeting so valuable. And the manager was the person to sort of mediate the situation. So that conversation, that sharing of experiences, no, it wasn't Knots Landing, but you're close. I'm going to remember it as soon as I get off this training. I could see the two women in my head, and I think the story is named after them, like their last name or something, like Bridges or something along those lines. It was before my time. I shouldn't even know that show. But yeah, so the experiences and the stories that we brought as reps to the meetings, our own experiences, our own stories, our own ideas. I love when we share ideas. Today, can't remember, but just this morning, a representative shared an idea that she had for how to increase sales in one of the groups. And we were like, oh my gosh, that was such a great idea. And that was the essence, the moment that I loved of our great groups. And even though we don't have physical meetings, it's, still these video chats that we have. So many people are doing Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and you can go back, and sometimes I go back and I watch videos I've seen before just to find that tip that I thought I had. And I take notes. So I could flip through my notebook too. Monday, I was flipping through my notes and going back to a training that a representative did a couple months ago. She said something and I couldn't remember what it was, but I needed it at the moment, and I went back to it. So you guys are going to have me thinking all night, what was the name of that movie? I want to say Dallas, but I know it wasn't it. It's a name, like it's the name of the sisters in the show. I'll post a pic later on. But yeah, so remember to daily hone your skills. You don't, just like a knife, if you don't keep sharpening it, it'll get dull. You want to keep practicing and learning. each and every day you want to add something to your tools, to your skill set, and you want to put that in practice as well. If you find yourself not practicing new things, something is wrong. There should be something that you're doing that's new or different, or an improvement on something that you had found new or different before, that you're constantly building and growing on. And if you're not, you'll start to see the negative results, the dullness, the lack of new customers, lack of new teammates, lack of increase in sales. You start to see things start to stagnate because of that lack of improvement. So you don't want to fall into that system. And my train of thought is completely gone because I can't remember the name of the show. But thank you guys so much for joining me again for another team training. So next week, remember, we're not going to be doing the ANTS team live training. We're going to be doing our monthly Facebook Live party where we watch the Avon Home Office training live, and we come back to the Facebook party to chat, share our comments, share ideas, share our tips and tricks and things like that. So I will be getting back to you in a minute with the name of the show that I need to share with you, which had nothing to do with the main topic of tonight's discussion. But I will see you guys all next week, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the home office training. I don't know if we have chats, but join us in the Facebook Live so that you can comment and share ideas. So looking forward to next week with you guys. Thank you all for joining me. Have a great evening and much success in your endeavors. Looking forward to seeing sharper ANTS team members next week. Have a great night, guys. Bye.